Hi, I'm Hannah Fleming, and today I'm going to talk about data driven instruction through assistive technology and modified assessments for special ed students. First, I'm going to talk about I can statements. This would go in like a pacing guide, and that's where I would start. It's for kind of like goals for students to have. Like, I can name the lines and spaces of the treble clef and the bass clef. I can name instruments from each family, like brass, woodwind, and percussion. I can name some instruments not common to us. I can give an instrument that reads in treble, bass, and alto clef, or whatever clef. Say what I like and dislike about it kind of music. Like, I want to ask them what their favorite music is, and then I want them to tell me why. Then there's formative assessment. This usually happens during the lesson or maybe even at the beginning, but this is something like I would check throughout the class. Like, I would give them, as they were playing, I would check to see what notes they're getting right and which notes they aren't. That helps me know if they are playing the notes right, which lets me know that they're reading the lines and spaces of the staff right. I can ask them, hey, can you tell me what note this is? Or I can ask them, what instrument are you playing and what family is it from? I can ask them, do you like the piece we're playing and why do you like it? And stuff like that. A summative assessment is something I would give at the end of a lesson. Like, you would make an Illuminate quiz, I would have a playing tests at the end of units, or even pencil to paper tests. I'm not as much of a fan of pencil to paper tests, but sometimes you have to do that in order for them to understand the music theory side of things. Modifications, accommodations, and depth of knowledge. This is very important. So, like, say their IEP has tells you that they have certain things they can't do or they need help with. They might need a shortened test, a different exam. They might need an interpreter or anything. Modifications is when you have to change the test. Accommodations when you add something to help them take the test. Something I might do is text to speech. I could screencast the whole test and send them a link. Does the student need an interpreter? If it's too much for the student, you could take it down a depth of knowledge. So instead of it being like, say, a level 4, like applying concepts and critiquing or your other students, you might do it like a 2 or a 1. Remediation for formative assessments. Like, say that these certain kids can't get it, that they don't understand what they're looking for, they don't know what to hear, they don't know what to make of it. So I will keep track of what kind of questions that they can answer and they just ones they have struggle with, and maybe bring them down a level of depth of knowledge. Like, say if I try to ask them, did you hear anything wrong with what they're playing? Maybe saying, what did you notice about it in general? And then asking them questions pertaining to only 3 of the I can statements rather than all of them, maybe a smaller portion of a question, have them focus on a certain thing, or a smaller selection of music rather than focusing on like a 10-minute piece, you know. So here's my summative assessment, and it is about music in general, like music theory and stuff. And then I plan on, if I want to have the test taken out loud, or like if they need someone to speak out loud their questions, I could screencast them and have them listen, or I could have a parapro do it, or assistant, or I could do it while in another room while the students are doing it. but my assessments here, they have to fill out their address, and then they fill out what are the lines of a treble clef, and what are the spaces, what does legato mean, what are some other unusual instruments, what clef, family, Spain. I like asking them questions like these, like their opinion. I want to know what they think about it, what they believe about music in general. So, multi-tiered system of support. The goal is to keep special ed students with the rest of the tier 1 students as much as possible and get them down to that level. I don't think there's any reason why some of them can be brought down to that level at all. Like doing a screencast and then having them listen to the test through headphones. This could help the tier 2 kids. They just need that little bit of extra help in explaining. I could have the assistant band director, if I have one, or I can give them the test and help this tier 2 students. And if it's to the point where like they really do need the special ed teacher, I will definitely schedule time aside and schedule with the special ed teacher time that is right for the teacher, so I can give the student the best chance to pass and to get a good grade. Remediation based on data. I can see the answers for every student's question. And depending on the results I see, I can see what each student has struggled with and what student thrived in what. And if it's just, I find that it's just too much for them, I can give them a shortened version of the test. I can focus on fewer statements. I can have them read one line or whatever. I can find out what areas they can thrive in and give them focus in those areas, but also push them just a little bit more, but not as much that's unreachable. And that is it for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day.